years ago, I moved to Neisner. Moved into a shtetl, a Jewish Finkelstein shtetl in Neisner. You cannot believe it. People I haven't heard of, David Finkelstein, many of them lived in Neisner, and the name was well known. Finkelstein was the mayor of Neisner at one stage. And then there was an addition. There was a guy who arrived in Neisner by the name of Roy Finkelstein. And we have Roy with us here today. Roy, tell us a little bit about Neisner, about your memories of the family. Share with us. Your dad. Give it a minute. That's it,
Yeah. My dad was really a very kind person to me, a very generous person. He taught me a lot. They always called him Dick. It was Richard Reuben Finkelstein. He started Underwoods here in Cape Town, and then became Olivetti, and then he got the Ollie Wright franchise in the Eastern Cape. And he opened that up with my brother-in-law as a family business and that. Of course, I went to study art, and then I went off to the army, and I came back, and what did I do? I married a wife that I met at 10 years old, and started dating from 14 years old, and I joined the family business, joined my dad, selling typewriters. And my dad taught me how to work a tick machine and a typewriter and all these type of things. And then typewriters moved on to electronic typewriters. And then DOS came along and became computers. And then I started the computer side for Ollie Wright and started importing components. And I remember my dad being so shrewd because we used to buy computers from Johannesburg. And he said to me, I tell you, this guy is schneiing us, he's screwing us. I need to give you an air ticket. You fly to Joburg, I'm going to place the order for this computer. You sit outside his office and you follow him and find out where he's buying this stuff. That was my dad, so big fat guy came walking out there from there, so I just placed the order. There weren't cell phones those days. Anyhow, I knew the time. And I followed this guy, and he took me to a guy, David Kem, which is Mercer Computers. And then David Kem said to me, it was a little company, he said, no, go see my friend Carlos Pescara. And then he supplied components to him. And David Kem is one of the biggest computer suppliers now in South Africa, anyhow. But that's how shrewd my dad was always. He always had a way of dealing with things, you know. And my dad always told me, Keith and Ivan, the two of them ran away to army together. They were underage. We had to be 16 or something like that. I don't recall whatever it was. They had to be to go to the war.
Our parents.
Our parents, and the two of them, they were very close. Uncle Flip and that. And they ran away to war. And I know my dad was an electrician on these bomber planes. And he told me one day, I don't know how good an electrician he was, he wired up the gunner incorrectly and it shot the plane in front of him. So those are some of the stories, and he told me how he was in Italy. And my dad used to speak Italian, quite fluent Italian, from Italy, believe it or not. And I remember he used to have a motorbike with a sidecar, and out of the war, he told me all these paintings that he had, maybe Rembrandts or whatever, and he had all these things stashed in there. But he couldn't get it out of Italy to bring back, unfortunately, you know. So those are some good memories I remember. I always remember coming to Keith and Uncle Flip. A snip braai was always something that we used to go have a good old snip braai and that. And Brian's also been here, went where? Neisner. So, yeah, 25 years ago, before Brian even came here, I built a house at Teeson's Island there. I bought a plot, second-hand plot. And then they told me, listen, you've only got 4 years and you have to build. I said, but geez, I just bought this plot. I haven't got the money to build now, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, hang on to the plot. But anyhow, I had to build this place. And one day I walked into, Brian Finkelstein. I know David Finkelstein. His big parties on the heads and well known. So Finkelsteins I was always known in Iceland. I still go to Iceland. But then Brian came along and I heard stories. He's built this driveway, 2 million rands worth of driveway up to this fancy house on top of the heads or whatever. I still haven't seen this place. I'm still going to look one of these days. And yeah, so it's welcome to Neisner, you know. So the Finkelsteins
We'll
are
meet
keeping
you
up
there.
because I think
We'll
Judy
meet you there.
Finkelstein, he was the mayor of Neisner or something like that.
No, it was Philip was the mayor.
Was Philip.
Yeah.
But I always heard of Judy Finkelstein as well.
Yeah, but his wife was a school teacher from Paarl,
Okay.
and they never had children.
Right.
It was Jack who had the other pharmacy who had 2 children. One was the David you were talking about, and he and his wife were both pharmacists. But the sister married Copper Smith. Copper Smith was in psychology at Rhodes University. So there's another psychologist. I forgot about that. There's another.
Well, it takes you back when he talks about Rhodes University. One thing, I sold all the computers to the university. I used to sell 200 computers a month to Rhodes, Forte, UPE, all that was there. And I remember selling Rhodes University the 2 first 10 gig hard drives. The hard drives were this size, and I remember it was 17,000 rand a hard drive. Those years, and I thought, yeah, this is a good sale. Now you got more than that on your cell phone, you know what I mean? So imagine that. So, I've actually got a whole safe where I've got some memorabilia and stuff like that, you know, so, of these old typewriters. Yeah, that's, I've actually, yeah. We've given quite a few old typewriters, even some people that passed away and they left only typewriters on the walls and that type of thing. They actually prints from the center and comes up, you know, and all that type of thing. So, yeah, but unfortunately in the typewriter game, I saw that the computers was going down, so I broke away from the company and I patented a product called an Amphicraft, which was a multi-purpose amphibious craft. It was the first 2-man sleep and they went on top of the vehicle. And everybody laughed at me because I was in the computer game and said, who's going to sleep on top of a vehicle? I said, I think people just sleep on top of vehicles. So I took a sandwich construction, which was glass fiber, injected that with polyurethane, so I made a sandwich structure. So what did I make? With a big cooler box on top of the car. And it was a packer. And Thule just started with a packer from Sweden. And that's when I went to Philip and I said, Philip, you know, what do I do with this thing, you know? And he said to me, if I can use a little swear word, you know, Philip said to me, don't fuck it, I'll just do it. You know? Okay.
It was my brother.
It was your brother. It was my brother. Mark's, because they were in the manufacturing side and I always used to look up to your dad and they used to make his pepper spray guns and Henry was making needles in a farm where the pigs were eating outside, but he was making injection needles inside this thing. Henry was quite a cowboy. I remember him organizing a machine to get dropped off a truck, and then he goes and pays in cash and he gets this machine. So,
He had more moves than a
he
Swiss.
moved in very strange circles, but my dad always had a lot of respect for Henry and that, and I've got some videos actually. I bought a memory card with some videos on, which I don't know if you're going anywhere or somebody's got a computer that I can just, you know, sort of keep all these old videos. My dad used to take a lot of videos of the family and so forth, you know. He always had these old city and that type
So
of thing.
Roy, that can happen. We're going to an after party, 2 blocks down.
And they've got Jamison.
Yeah, there's like, whatever you need, it's
Okay,
Sure.
no problem. Okay. Anyway, I'm just giving you a little side. My dad was really my hero in my life. I worked with him many years. And unfortunately, the council lady ran away. When I broke away for 1 year to develop this in my garage at home, this Amphicraft there. My brother-in-law was running it, and the council ran away with R1 million those years to Cape Town. And unfortunately, my dad, he then decided to close the company, and he said, before I close it and you take him to hospital, because I took him in, he had pains in his chest, but he'd actually taken all the insurance policies and actually plowed it into the company, so he didn't have any medical aid insurance. So he said, you take me to our pay the staff first on the Friday, and Monday you can take them to hospital. I remember going to hospital and as I walked into the ward, I just heard beep, 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 and I had a heart attack right in front. And from that, I had a deceased estate to look after. Everybody else ran away, and that was it. I had a liquidated company that I had to try and sort out. But I knew I had 1 kilogram of resin, so I decided to take some sea sand, put that together, and we started making pots out of resin sea sand. And today I've built the company up to, I've got 5 factories, my kids are in business, and we turn over about 40 to 50,000 square meters of flat glass fiber sheets that we produce for the trucking guys and that type of thing. We do protrusion nowadays, we make protruded rebar for building, all sorts of things. So we've developed from there.
There you go.